Good evening to each of you. Listen, I pray all is well. I'm still at the church in my study as I was just sitting here thinking and contemplating where we are as a country, where we are as a people, where we are as Christians. I couldn't help but think about John chapter 5, verses 1 through 15. When you get a chance, read it. In John chapter 5, verses 1 through 15, it talks about a man who couldn't walk, or he was a lame man, if you would. And Jesus instructs him, after being there for 38 years, that he needed to just get up and walk. As I think about what to say to you for watching me on my YouTube channel, some of you wonder why you have not progressed in life the way you think you should. Others of you are trying to figure out why your relationships are rocky. Then there are those of you who don't know why you cannot get to the next level in life, in your career, in your relationships. And oftentimes it's because of the lame excuses that we make. At least three things have to happen by way of John chapter 5 if we're going to deal with our lame excuses and not have them to continue to hinder the progress in which we believe God has called us to do. So the first thing we must do, according to John chapter 5, is we look at this man who had been sitting at the pool of Bethesda for 38 years. Listen to the text. The first thing we must do if we're going to deal with these lame excuses, and we're talking about changing. What does change look like? That's really what this message is all about. It's about change. What does change look like for us? So the first thing we need to look at and really realize is before you can change, you must decide if you want to be changed. Look at verse 6 in John chapter 5. It says, when Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had already been in that condition for a long time, he said to him, do you want to be made well? Now, again, this is a very strong question, but Jesus would often ask questions for the simple purpose of making us think. Why? Because in the past 38 years, this man had been a beggar, so he lived his life off of the donations of others. And if he were healed, he would lose these donations. He would lose the pity of others. And today, in some third world countries, parents are guilty of injuring their children, crippling them, and perhaps so that they can earn a living by begging. And if this man were healed, he would have to be responsible for himself. He would have to go and find work. It would be a whole new world for him. So if he were to change, before he could ever change, he must decide first that he wants to be changed. Jesus asked him, hey, bro, do you want to be made well? That's my question to you. You're trying to get to the next level. You're trying to finish a paper. You're trying to finish a goal. You're trying to get some stuff done in life, and you are allowing excuses to stop you. But before you can change, it starts in your mind. You have to decide that you want change in your life. You think Michael Jordan was great all of a sudden? No, he had a mind change. You think Tiger Woods was great all of a sudden. No, he had a mind change. And if we're going to do for God, if we're going to ask God to do for us what only God can do, and if we're going to do what we want to do and get to the next level in life, you and our friends must learn to change our minds and turn it toward the goals in which we're trying to accomplish. Before you can change, you must decide if you want to be changed. Jesus asked him, do you want to be well? Do you want to be made well? Do you want to be great? Do you want to lose that excess weight? Do you want to receive that doctorate? Do you want him or her to marry you? Do you want that promotion? Do you want to get to the next level in life? Do you want it? How bad do you want it then? How much do you want it? You ought to dream about it. You ought to wake up about it. You ought to smell it. You ought to taste it. You ought to feel it. Every day you wake up in your life, you ought to get going and grind, baby. Grind till your feet are bleeding. Grind until your heart is hurting. Grind until your mind has been made up that you want to get to the next level. Too many of us are so passive. And this is what we do. When Jesus asks us the question, do you want to be great? Do you want to get to the next level? Do you want healing and delivering? And do you want to be set free? Remember, it's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you some friendships. It's going to cost you some relationships. It's going to cause you some sleep. You want to get to the next level? Greatness doesn't just happen. It means you got to get up and go get it. You got to go get it, friend. You got to get to that next level. Nobody is going to hand you anything. Here it is, verse 7. The sick man answered, watch this, sir. I have no one to put me in the pool when the water is stirred up. But while I am coming, another steps down before me. Notice, this man avoids Jesus' question altogether. He doesn't even answer it. He doesn't say whether or not he wants to be made well. All he does is complain and make lame excuses. The reason you are where you are is not anybody else's fault. It's your fault. The reason you haven't gotten the promotion, ain't nobody hating on you. You don't want to grind. It may mean coming in early. It may mean staying late. It may mean turning off the television. It may mean Facebook and other social media outlets are no longer a priority. You look at them maybe once or twice a week, when before they consumed you 7 days a week for 4 to 5 hours a day. Quit making excuses. Because first of all, you got to decide that you want to change. Then, secondly, if we do want to be changed, we must decide to stop making excuses. Woo! Come on in the room. We've got to decide to quit making excuses. Too many of us are guilty of making excuses. Let me get all up in your face. Friends, can I tell you that life is going to happen? This brother says, sir, I have nobody to put me in the pool. Folk are always jumping in front of me. And all you do is walk around talking about what folks have done to you, why you haven't gotten to the next level, why you're always overlooked. How bad? Can you smell it? Can you taste it? You can smell it and taste it. Why are you allowing other people to project onto you how they really feel about themselves. You stupid, you dumb, your mama didn't go to college, your daddy was a no good so-and-so, huh? Your uncle what? Your cousin what? You are allowing what other folks say to you or about you to hinder you from getting what you want out of life? Friends, you're sophomoric in your thinking if that's the case. If you want to get it, it's yours for the taking. You just got to get up and got to get something. Listen, because if you do want to be changed, you got to kill them excuses. I'm not smart enough. I'm not educated enough. I'm black. You don't know my family pedigree. You don't know the hell that I've been through. You don't know how he's cheated on me, how they left me for dead, how I was raped, how I was treated, how they talked about me, how they gossiped about me in the break room. So all of that has stopped you from getting what you've set your sights out to do. We're great at starting things, but we're horrible as a people. I'm talking about Americans for finishing stuff. And we're raising and rearing a generation of quitters. As soon as it gets hard, we quit. As soon as it gets tough, we throw in the towel. As soon as we can't figure it out, we say, I don't want to handle it. Listen, my friend, there's a blessing in the pain. There's a blessing in the hurt. There is a blessing in the doggone struggle. You're looking at me and you think I've got it going on, but what you don't know is that you're looking at a boy from the hood. Folks told me what I couldn't do, what I wouldn't do because of my socioeconomic status. Can I tell you, I'm Dr. Damian Williams now? Not because I've been so good, but because I've learned. Number one, how to be content. Number two, how to fight for what I want for as long as I got Jesus in my life, as long as I got him and I got breath in my body and the activity of my limbs. Every day I get up and go get it. Don't tell me what I can't do. That makes me push just a little bit harder. Don't tell me what I can't accomplish. That makes me put my head down, go into warfare, and dig until I get what I ask God to give me. But you'll let excuses and what other folks think about you hinder you from getting what God has for you. Friend, that's why you are in the predicament that you're in right now, is because you allow what other folks say to you. You allow what other folks do to you. You allow the things that happen around you. Listen, life is going to happen. Can I just bust your bubble, baby, and just let you know that life is going to happen whether you like it or not. And since life is going to happen, just know, plan ahead. And in your planning ahead, plan for storms to happen in your life. And I wish I was in church right now. I wish I was in front of a crowd of 1,000 folks and one of my motivational speeches, so I could just encourage somebody who's watching me to just let them know that you need to learn to plan, but then in your planning, plan for life to happen. Listen, they gonna talk about you. You gonna get a flat. You may get laid off. Folk might mistreat you. You might get sick. Somebody might die. And now what? You're going to allow all that to stop you from obtaining the goals and objectives that you have set out for your life? Friends, you're better than that. So what we must do, number two, is kill the excuses, because if we want to be changed and see change affected in our lives, we must decide to stop making excuses. But then finally, if we're going to kill lame excuses and see change, we must decide whether or not we were ready to take action. Watch this. Verse 8 and 9. Now understand, when this man was healed, he was not healed by water. He was not healed by water. He was healed, watch this, by doing a few things. Either he could have just listened to Jesus and heard what Jesus said and did nothing. The Bible says, Jesus says, pick up your mat and walk. And after he picked up his mat and walked, that's when the healing came. Notice he never got in the water. So for 38 years, he thought the water had the healing. That's just some superstitious stuff. Nobody really get healed and delivered and set free. For 38 years, he made this excuse. Jesus said, pick up your mat and walk. So either we can make excuses or we can make progress, but we cannot make both. Let me rewind and push play. Either we can make excuses or either we can make progress, but we cannot make both. Either this man would listen to Jesus, sit, soak, and become sour, or he would get up and go do something. Jesus said, get up and walk. Watch this. He heard and obeyed. Yeah. After you get tired of your excuses, you're going to learn to listen and to obey. That's all he did, was heard and obeyed. Consequently, he got blessed because he heard and obeyed. He didn't just hear and sit down. And oftentimes when we pray, we think we pray, and as we're praying, we don't supposed to just sit by the roadside and just think stuff is going to happen. No, after you pray, my friend, get up and start walking toward the destination that you have coming for you, that you've asked God for. And as you're listening and hearing from God and obeying that which you're hearing, there is when the blessing comes through. All right. Listen, this is not magic potion. No. This is not God is a spiritual sugar daddy and a genie in a bottle. Rub it. He comes out, give you 3 wishes, and then goes back in the bottle. No. Hear and obey. Pick up your mat, brother, and walk. And as he was walking, he ultimately got healed and delivered and set free. But we must decide whether or not we're ready to take action, because when you're ready to take action, you'll quit saying, for the last 20 years, I've allowed what other folks said about me to be true. No. The action is, no longer will other people do for me what I can do for myself. No longer will I be in need of somebody else to do for me what God has given me creative genius to do. No longer will I be waiting on other folk to help me to get to where I'm trying to go. I'm grateful for my village and I'm grateful for my circle, but listen, nobody will do for your family what you can do for your family. Nobody's going to do for you what you can do for you. I wish I had a witness. Nobody will get you to the next level. It's going to be you and God getting you to the next level. Of course, God will put people in your life to help you, but you got to want to help you. I wish I had a witness. And watch this. Jesus reminds him to pick up that mat. There's theology in the mat. If the mat was here, it would be talking and saying, Pastor Damien, what's the theology in me? The theology in me is this, is that when we get to where we're going, God reminds us to always take a piece of your past so that when you get the blessing and when you get the breakthrough, watch this, you will be reminded that you didn't do it by yourself. When this man got what God had for him, he was always reminded, because Jesus told him to pick up his mat and walk, that mat always reminded him of his affliction. That mat always reminded him of his 38 years in the same being stuck. That mat reminded him that for 38 years, he didn't have a relationship for 38 years. He had excuses for 38 years. He had lame excuses for 38 years. He didn't want to get on the treadmill for 38 years. He didn't want to run around the track for 38 years. He talked about he wanted to lose weight, but he kept going to get Popeyes and Williams and eating fast food and junk food. And for 38 years, he kept making excuses of why no girls would give him their number, why he couldn't get married, why he couldn't get to the next level, why he couldn't get a promotion. And many of us have been doing the same thing time and time again. But when you get there, that mat is there to remind you that everything you have, God did it for you. That's it for me. That's my shout for today. That when you get the degree, be reminded that God did it for you. When you get the new house, remember God did it for you. When you lose the 100 pounds and when you move from Lane Bryant to Victoria's Secret, be reminded that God did it for you. And when you move from DXL to a medium size, not medium, but medium size at Dillard's, be reminded it was nobody but the Lord. I wish I had some folk who had their match today to be reminded that no longer will I make excuses. No longer will I sit by the side and make excuses. I'm going to get in the game and I'm going to do the dang old thing. And in my process of doing it, God will bless my hands and get me to where I'm trying to go. Listen, that's my word for somebody. If we're going to get to the next level, we must first of all decide that before we can change, we must decide that we want to be changed. And if we want to be changed, we must stop making excuses. But then finally, we must decide whether or not we're ready to take action. God has gifted you. God has blessed you. God has helped you to get to the next level, friends. So it's time to get up and go get it and trust that God will bless you in the process. That's my word to you. And remember, I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Until next time, peace. Get rid of your lame excuses. Talk to you later.